I call this meeting of the Hurst-Euless-Bedford Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Good evening to everybody. Thank you for being here with us. We're going to start tonight with an invocation by Pastor Zach Nelson from the Euless First Nazarene Church. Okay. Is Pastor Nelson here? Well, then, could I ask Faye Ballou to come and fill in? Faye, I was telling Andy.
Good evening. I invite you to pray with me. Gracious God, we thank you for your loving care, demonstrated to us today by the beauty of the day you have given us. We thank you for this gorgeous Texas spring weather, and we ask that you remind us that it's just one more way you intervene in our lives to show your love and your provision for us. We invite your grace and your presence here with us tonight as we celebrate, as we recognize, as we acknowledge, and as we award. And then as we conduct the business of the school district. We thank you for all the ways that staff, administration, teachers, service people, everyone who comes together to serve children in HEBISD do their part so that kids can be better tomorrow than they are today. We lift up this evening. May it be what you want it to be. And at the end of the night, may we know that you have had a hand in all that transpired this evening. We ask these things for your glory and your purpose. Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Blue. Next, we will have our Pledge of Allegiance, and tonight that will be led by two students from Midway Park Elementary School, Mira Bott and May Osman, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance of the American and Texas flags.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, before you all run off, come on up here. We have something for you, and I'm going to invite Miss Cole to tell the audience about you.
Okay, first I'm going to tell you about Mira. Mira is a very hard worker. She is kind and respectful and an overall great student. She's not shy. She participates in school activities such as the campus spelling bee, and she's a wonderful part of our school family at Midway Park. Why don't you turn around, Mira, so everyone can see you. Now I want to make sure I pronounce this right. Is it May? May is a joyful learner who takes on challenges with confidence, always giving her best and letting her artistic talent shine. Her kind heart, love for helping others, and cheerful jokes and growing skills on the piano make her a delightful part of our school community at Midway Park Elementary.
Parents, come on up.
Yeah, parents, don't be shy.
Come on up.
Yeah.
Great job.
All right. Thank you, girls, for being here tonight, and thank you to Midway Park. Tonight, the Board of Trustees is meeting in its regularly scheduled monthly meeting to officially act on items included in the posted agenda. The board welcomes and values input from the community. A single open forum will be provided during tonight's meeting to allow the public an opportunity to address the board. During this time, individuals may share comments or requests related to both agenda and non-agenda items. Those addressing the board are asked to limit their comments to 3 minutes per meeting. Their speaker should identify their name, group affiliation, if any, and a brief presentation with an identified solution if one is sought. Remarks should be addressed to the board as a whole. Oral presentations may not include charges against any employee or board member by name. It is my responsibility to determine if the person addressing the board has attempted to resolve a concern informally or through the district's complaint policies. If not, the speaker will be directed to follow the appropriate policy. The board requests that all presentations be made in a courteous, respectful, and professional manner and asks that speakers monitor their own behavior. If you wish to speak during the open forum, please fill out one of the cards located on the table in the entry hall. Next, we will review our board activity chart. And I'll start with Dr. Began.
No report.
Mr. Campos?
I feel like we say this all the time. There's lots of activities during this time. A couple things worth mentioning that I thought were amazing. I got to get together with several other board members and visit. Representative Bujani puts together this interfaith and invites councils, every form of North Texas elected officials to get together and really represent at least 6 to 8 different faiths and just kind of get us together in a room to honor each other and just to promote working together. I just think he does such a great job of that. One of my favorite things is visiting schools because it's just such a neat opportunity for us as board members. It's something we all do, and we kind of rotate around, and I just love seeing all the great activities and seeing all the neat things that are happening. I'll skip a few of these things because I'm sure some of my others will say. Didn't realize how competitive our superintendent is. We attended the Bridgework fundraiser, and our team came in second place. Trivia.
Not competitive enough, you're saying?
No. They did a great job. The last thing I just want to say is I got to attend Charles Clark's funeral, and I was by myself, and I didn't get an opportunity to sit with anybody, but I got to sit with a group of strangers for the entire session, and it was amazing to see it through their eyes, because there were comments like, oh my gosh, he had such an impact. Look at the cultural diversity. I actually heard that from some of my neighbors sitting around of this district, and look how much the district was involved, and it was just really touching to see it from other people's perspective of the impact that just one of ours had on our students.
Ms. Cole?
I wanted to mention that we hosted here in HBISD the Texas Association of School Boards grassroots meeting for Region 11. And because we hosted it here, there's several people that we need to thank, including our student ambassadors who were there to show people the way and answer their questions, our child nutrition services who provided dinner for a group of about 70 school board members from around the region, and our culinary arts students who prepared a fantastic dessert. I also wanted to mention that I attended the Adopt a School reception, and it's a great opportunity for the district to just really kind of show our gratitude to our adopters that are helping in our schools, and this community always rises up and helps when we need it, and that's a great way for them all to gather together and sort of be thanked for the work that they do for us throughout the year. By the way, I have a couple new adopters I need to tell some of you about. Also, the Teacher of the Year luncheon, most of us attended. It's an opportunity for us to celebrate the best of the best in each of our campuses. And wow, our folks are amazing. And I just can't wait to see what that looks like at our employee banquet. And then one last thing that I attended, our HB HR department hosted the North Central TASPA, T-A-S-P-A, basically the HR people for all of the region here in HEB. And Cicely and the team asked me to just come and speak to them just for a minute on behalf of school boards. And so I got to just really kind of say thank you to them for the work that they do in their districts. we know we have the best HR team in the region, in the state, but the rest of them are pretty close. So I wanted them to know how great they were. So thanks for that invitation, Cicely.
All right, Ms. Hewitt?
We had the Extra Mile Award presentation last week, and several of us were there, and it's a great event to honor all of our auxiliary staff, because Lord knows that we could not do this job in this district without those auxiliary people helping us every day, from the bus drivers to the cafeteria workers to maintenance to the parking guards to all of them, secretaries, and I know I'm going to leave somebody out, but it was a great event, and we did honor Charles at that event also, and he's just an example of many people that do a lot of great things for kids and people here in HEB.
I just want to mention the Awards of Excellence that's put on every year by our Education Foundation. They do a great job hosting that, and it's a great honor for a lot of our kids and a lot of our teachers to be recognized at that event. Again, the Awards of Excellence, as Ms. Hewitt mentioned, our district, if you divide it in half, we're basically, in terms of total employees, we're half teachers and half everybody else who makes it happen. The bus drivers, the child nutrition, custodial staff, maintenance. So it's a great opportunity to recognize that other half and when they go above and beyond what their normal job is. So I wanted to thank the student ambassadors for being there. They were a big part of making sure everybody got to where they needed to go, and also the board members who were not only there, but also the board members who helped pick the winners for that event. And as I think most of the board members since the last meeting got to take a tour of the bond projects, particularly the two high schools. So that was a really good opportunity to get to walk through. I mean, it wasn't a construction was going on all around us. You had to keep your head on a swivel because you had to move through it, and we're walking through puddles and mud and just everything you'd expect to see on a construction site. But it was good to see the progress and finally get some scale and be able to see with your own eyes, the scope of this project. So that was exciting. All right, Dr. Harrington, any comments?
Well, I'm going to just throw a few more in, just how busy a month it had been. Yeah. We also had the Bedford Heights 50th anniversary on Friday. I got to touch Brad Mingwasser's jacket. It was pretty exciting. We had the HEB Job Fair Saturday. Hundreds of people looking to... Yes. How many? 415. So that's a lot of folks that want to make HEB home. So pretty exciting there. One act play. Got to go out and watch some shows. That was a lot of fun. I always enjoy that. So just a lot of activities.
All right. Any comments or any clarifications?
None at this time.
Okay. Dr. Blue, my question isn't coming up, so I'm trying to get it to come up.
You got it? It's printed, she said.
Okay. Thank you.
It's right here.
Oh, okay. Oh, you put it there.
Oh, you said notes. I thought you were printed.
Sorry, we're using a new system, and
We're learning.
we're learning.
Well, not really.
Yeah, can't hear. I think I got it. Okay. Thank you. All right. Sorry about that. I'd like to say a quick thank you to our greeters this evening. You may have noticed that the two students in green blazers as you enter tonight. These students are part of the HEB ISD Student Ambassador Program, which is a select group of students chosen through an application and interview process to be the face of the district. They are trained to assist with public relations and communication services and are given the opportunity to positively promote HEBISD while developing leadership skills. Tonight we have, Jesse Shahada, a senior at LD Bell, and Preston Hawley, a senior at Trinity. We've been using this opportunity to hear the voice of our district students by asking the ambassadors a question. This month we are asking, Basecamp co-founder Jason Freed wrote, "We like to bully deadlines, treat them like enemies, but deadlines are actually our best friends. They force us to make decisions and get things done. As you approach graduation, one of the few truly fixed deadlines in life, how do you personally view deadlines? In what way have they challenged or helped you this year? And how do you think your perspective on deadlines might influence how you approach future goals and responsibilities beyond high school?"
That's a great question. Thank you. So for me, juggling deadlines has always been a little bit challenging with baseball, basketball, school. And so the biggest example for me this year was college applications. And I found that instead of trying to do it all at once, sitting down and doing a little bit every day or knocking out a couple essays, questions here and there, helped kind of speed up the process and made it a lot easier for me. And so I kind of used that every day with my homework or other problems to make issues easier and help build it into smaller tasks.
Yeah, so I personally believe deadlines are our best friends, even though sometimes they do feel like our enemies. Over the past couple of years, as I've gotten more involved in school activities and personal life activities, deadlines have made it so much easier to not let assignments and tasks I need to complete stack on top of each other. They've allowed me to hold myself accountable to my responsibilities, and they've also allowed me to reinforce my mindset. It was a challenge in the beginning to complete these tasks that I needed to do, but deadlines have allowed me to look at things that I need to accomplish more optimistically, and because I'm not getting overwhelmed by everything I need to do as I'm completing it when it needs to be done.
Thank you, Jesse and Preston. All right, 4.02, LD Bell and Trinity class officers.
Once again, it's hard to believe it's this time of year. I would like to introduce the sponsors for the LD Bell senior class. That's Marisol Gaiman and Mercedes Barnett. There they are. So they have worked with student council, and their student council is here to present to the board their invitations for the activities this spring.
No, you're fine. Hi, I'm Amelia Gaiman. I'm the senior class president, and on behalf of LD Bell's 2026 senior class, we want to invite the board members to our end of year events. Thank you.
Okay, and now I'd like to introduce the sponsors of the Trinity senior class. That would be Amber Prince and Melissa Rothermel. There they are. And I want to invite them up to make the presentations as well.
Good afternoon. So I am going to introduce my officers. Preston Hawley. All right, so our president of class council and our historian is Olivia Nakart. Our vice president is Matthew Hernandez. Our treasurer is Preston Hawley, and our secretary is London Brooks.
Hi, once again, my name is Olivia Nakar, and on behalf of Trinity Senior Class, we would like to invite all the board members to all our spring events, such as prom, senior recognition, and graduation. Thank you.
He's still Chris.
All right. Thank you, LD Bell and Trinity officers. 4.03, Daughters of the Republic of Texas Essay Contest winners.
So unfortunately, this student could not be with us tonight, so we'd like to push this to the next meeting. Thank you.
All right, we will push it to the next meeting then. All right, next we will be passing out certificates of appreciation for those who have made donations in the past month, and I'll turn it over to Ms. Cole.
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, we're very, very thankful for the community that always supports us. Tonight's grand total of donations from this community is $11,650. So first up, we have Board Member Becky Ewert, and she has a certificate for Donna Park Elementary and Retail Sports Marketing. This is a $1,500 donation, which is allocated to staff morale and the principal's fund. Julie McAvoy is here to accept the certificate. Becky also has a certificate for Mike and Peg Standish. This is a donation of $5,000 to Oakwood Terrace Elementary to be used to provide materials, supplies, and experiences that promote academic achievement and well-being of students. And Heather Thomas is here to accept the certificate. Oh, and Raphael Parr, sorry. I only have what's on my note. I didn't look up. Becky has another certificate. Peg and Mike Standish also made a $1,000 donation to the Buinger Career and Technical Education Academy to support the CTA Angel Fund, and Deborah Harvey is here to accept. Next up is Board Member Andy Cargile. He has a certificate for... Oh, John Began has a certificate for Wells Fargo Black Bud Giving Funds to Bedford Heights Elementary. This is a $1,500 donation for staff morale and provisions for the 50th celebration that happened last week. And Dr. Miranda Martin is here to accept. Dr. Began also has a certificate for Terry and Kimberly Smith to Visual and Performing Arts. This is a $1,650 soprano saxophone signed by Kenny G. The saxophone will be utilized by all secondary schools and checked out to programs. Well, that got a lot of attention.
Can we tell you the backstory?
Please.
Go ahead.
I don't have much of a voice, but we've been to several Kenny G concerts, and we went to one in January.
Yeah.
And the first thing, he started playing, but then he stopped, and he spoke from the heart about he would not be where he is in life if it were not for the Seattle Public Schools and the band program, and that he participated in. His keyboardist and his best friend from high school has been his keyboardist all these years, almost 40 years that he's been performing. So he's a big advocate for music and arts in the public schools, and we were so inspired by that, and we wanted to be able to touch and inspire kids in HEB, band kids, that, you know, hard work, commitment, and opportunity, how far can you go? And it's just, it was really a truly inspiring evening, and we felt called to be able to give this to the district and for kids to be able to use, and I hope it inspires them.
And the cool thing, Christine, who is over this program, was saying, I don't think they had a soprano saxophone, and that this will go a long way to their jazz club, which is something that Kenny G participated in. And hopefully, over the next 20 or 30 years, this is going to pay dividends and inspire children to do band.
Awesome.
And hopefully we inspire other people to step up and do as we have. You might not have get a Kenny G, but it's pretty special. Pretty special.
Thank you.
Sure.
So obviously, we have Terry and Kimberly Smith accepting the certificate along with Katina Road.
Well, maybe we can get you to come. I think that'd be a
Yeah.
awesome thing.
We'll take you up on it, Terry. Get working.
But he does have a huge commitment to public schools.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
and oh, the other cool thing about this, he still plays with his original saxophone from high school. And he couldn't find the manufacturers today were making these saxophones the way he wanted. So he had a bunch made himself.
Very good.
So,
Thank
cool
you.
thing.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Terry.
One last certificate is a certificate for Jean and Mary Kay Buinger. This is a $1,000 donation to Meadow Creek Elementary to help the Dancing Classrooms program. And Ann Rodriguez and Jean and Mary Kay Buinger happen to be here tonight to accept.
All right, we're ready for open forum number one. Or I guess the only open forum. I always forget that. Thank you. All right, first speaker is it Miley Lynn? Haley Lynn, sorry. All right, and you'll have 3 minutes, and the timer will go up on the screen for you.
I appreciate your time. Thank you. So my name is Haley Lynn, and I'm the mom to a student at Bedford Junior High. We're here tonight because I wanted to ensure the school board is aware of what has been happening. I've sent copies of the formal grievances with supporting documentation, including proposed solutions to all of your emails. We have tried essentially all year long to adequately address 504 violations, bullying, and subsequently the complaint procedure non-compliance as it relates to all of this. I'm grasping at straws now because what else is a parent supposed to do when we go through the proper steps of informal mediation, then filing a formal grievance, only to be asked to withdraw it by the principal, rethink my grievance by the assistant superintendent, and pass back and forth between the two with still no formal grievance hearing date even being set as it relates to this. Even though he has been made aware repeatedly by not just myself, but State Representative Mr. Bojani's office and the TEA complaint department, the superintendent has still been utterly absent and unreachable. In fact, the TEA's deadline provided to him is by the end of day tomorrow to reach out and resolve my concerns, yet the only response received by him was an email to both the TEA and I, deferring me back to the assistant superintendent, even though she's clearly listed in my grievance now for a reason. Did he even read the complaint and notice sent to him by the TEA, or does he simply not care? He's aware of my son's mental health team. Have had to write letters on his behalf demanding compliance with the 504. He's aware he has been repeatedly assaulted in the gym, requiring police reports. Come to find out, that is the area of the school with no cap size to the number of students underneath the care of just one staff member. The coach, principal, and the assistant superintendent all admit that this area is known for having the most assaults and bullying, yet nobody is implementing any changes to actually address it. Why is the priority in preventing the formal grievance process from taking place versus actually addressing our concerns? What about when students have repeatedly told my son that he should kill himself? And I'm told by staff members that this happens so often, it's essentially impossible to rectify. After the video of another student being assaulted last year went viral, the superintendent put out a statement saying, "Safety is our highest priority. And we are listening, we are HEBISD, and we will do better." Seems like more false promises from a superintendent who clearly cares more about his public image versus the students in his care. I implore the board to please listen to us and help us. If the current superintendent won't take any action as it relates to these serious matters regarding our children in your care, then find somebody else who will. Other students are scared to report bullying because they see what happens and those that try to report it. Other parents, many, have shared similar experiences that I have had with admin, so maybe you're not aware of everything going on because we're silenced. We are not alone. Please do better, and please respond to my email. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And our next speaker is Brian Golightly.
Thank you for the opportunity to come and speak before you today. Haley Lynn is my daughter, and I've been on this journey with her all year. I've sat in meetings with the principal and a teacher, and nothing gets done. It's the same story, oh, we'll do better, and nothing happens. The children involved seem to not be getting corrected action taken because they continue to do it. My grandson is a very bright kid. He does his own coding. He has so much potential, but the kids bullying him, telling him to kill himself is hindering him from growing. And it's about time we take this seriously and help those kids. I'm sure y'all have had kids in the school district. You've had problems. Have you been stonewalled? Have you been asked to drop grievances if you've had it? I don't know. In the elementary school my granddaughter goes to, she was bullied and it was taken care of that day. It ended. So you might find out how that principal takes care of it and maybe educate the other principals in higher grades. Maybe that will help. I know there's an age difference, but if we tolerate bullying, it's only going to make matters worse. It's time to put a stop to it and show we will not tolerate bullying or telling some other kid, go kill yourself. What happens if a kid takes that and commits suicide? Who's at fault? There's lots of people at fault. We could have prevented it. And that's what we're trying to do. Trying to keep other kids from being bullied in school when they're trying to learn. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. All right. At this time, the board will adjourn into closed session pursuant to Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551. We'll adjourn into closed session pursuant to sections 551.072, 551.074, and also in order to accommodate the availability of the board's attorney, the board will move closed session item 14.02, 551.071 for the purpose of private consultation with legal counsel on the matters authorized by law to this closed session. At this time, the board will reconvene into open session. We are at action item 9.01, consider approval of Bedford Junior High principal beginning 2026-2027 school year. I will accept the motion.
Go ahead, Julie.
Go ahead.
All right, I move that the board approve the appointment of Ann Rodriguez as the Bedford Junior High School principal as submitted.
Second.
I have a motion and a second that the board approve Ann Rodriguez as Bedford Junior High School principal as submitted. Please vote.
Here we go again.
All right, and that motion passes, even though it didn't follow close. All right, Ms. Rodriguez, this isn't your first time here, so we give you an opportunity to stand up and introduce anyone you have with you tonight.
I am so excited about this opportunity, and I know that so this is my work wife, Cindy Smotherman. She's my assistant principal at Meadow Creek. And then this is my mom, Mary Kay Buinger. And then my dad, Dr. Gene Buinger. And then my husband, Michael Rodriguez.
All right, congratulations. I know they probably want to take pictures with you and stuff, so we'll give you a chance to sneak out. All right, we're down to consent items. Does any board member have any consent items they'd like removed from the agenda? Hearing none, I'll accept a motion.
I move the board approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the board to approve the consent agenda as presented. Please vote. All right, and that motion passes. We're ready for reports and presentations. 10.01, report on employments, resignations, and retirements. Any questions on this report? All right, 11.02, district benchmarks assessment, DBA report. Dr. Norgard.
Good evening. I have two reports for you this evening. We'll start with language arts. Okay, so a reminder, it's aligned to our strategic plan, of course. Some context, I do want to remind you that the year that we had the interim assessment, that we found that it was a good measure of approaches, but our meets and masters were very skewed. So it's in here, but when I start talking about up and down trends, it's grayed out. I just didn't want to totally omit the year. I also want to remind you when we look at language arts, 22-23, when you see that year and it looks different than others, that was the year of the redesign when writing was added back into the reading test. And so we made our DBAs trying to anticipate. We couldn't just use the release star from the previous year because it was a reading-only test. We needed a DBA that included reading and writing. And we had a considerably lower result that year. Our star bounced back up because we really prepared them with that test. So just a couple of things that will stand out in the data. So the first section is simply our year-to-year comparison. So just reminders that these are different groups of third graders, different groups of fourth graders. And you see that great big jump in 24-25 because that 22-23 test had been so low. So if we just concentrate on the bottom line, we see that we are really improving across all of our grades over previous year's performance, especially noted there in fourth grade. Again, the bottom line is our current year. A little up, a little down in fifth grade, really minute changes. We did see a significant change in meets at sixth grade compared to last year's sixth graders. This, in my analysis with our ELA coordinator, we can attribute most of this to their composition. We had 21% of our sixth graders score 0 out of 10 points on their composition. So that is something that is being addressed in training with those teachers. There are lots of different reasons students could score a 0. They may have written a beautiful essay, but it wasn't to the prompt and things like that. So really digging in, because when it's 10 points out of possibly, 40 total points, that's a significant amount. So that is where we are digging in with our sixth grade data. Seventh grade, we saw a little up, little down. Eighth grade, pretty consistent performance everywhere other than that sixth grade when you compare it to the previous year's students in that grade. So this section is just a visual reminder of when we give a DBA and then what we look like when we go to STAR. So again, that interim year is kind of grayed out because that was the year that our meets and masters were high and we dropped at STAR, when historically we climb. We get our DBA data, we intervene, and we score higher on STAR. So this is just a visual representation of that, that we will continue to climb. So as you look at this data and know, okay, now our teachers are equipped with data to intervene, what we see at STAR should go up from what we've seen at the DBA. We have a strong trend of that happening. So now we can look at not just how did fourth grade do compared to last year's fourth graders, how did fourth grade compare to when they were in third grade. So these are actually fairly consistent other than at the masters, that they are already at the DBA, when we just slid through that section showing we grow from DBA to STAR, they're already performing like they did on STAR last year. So when we get some intervention, that masters, the green line at the bottom, should come up. We should see more students, and then we should be exceeding how this group of students did as third graders on their STAR. And again, different grade levels may have different passing standards, performance indicators, et cetera. But in general, when we look at this cohort performance, particularly at the meets grade level, we saw they're already consistently performing on DBA like they did on STAR in the previous grade. And so now we know our teachers are equipped and have been busy doing their interventions based on this DBA data. So again, sixth grade, we talked about that difference from last year's sixth graders. We can see at masters, this group fell compared to where they were at fifth grade. Again, we're looking at their compositions. And then at seventh and eighth grade, where we see dips at masters, this is where, because again, they're comparing to their own performance, but on the previous grade level, the performance that you have to achieve, especially moving from eighth to ninth grade, like you see here, you need to score more than 10 percentage points higher to achieve masters in ninth grade than you do on the eighth grade test. So the standards have changed as well. So that is something that we follow. Questions about language arts?
Remind me again, when is the DBA given, and when do the teachers receive the data for this so that they can start this intervention?
Okay, so the teachers receive data really within 24 hours since we do our testing online. Some of the additional reports the assessment office pulls together for us take another 48 hours beyond that, but they have their students' data and can start looking almost immediately. And then our coordinators are also taking that data, looking for commonalities across the district of additional support pieces that then each teacher may decide. They may say, oh, this was a problem for the district. My students were strong here. I'm going to focus here. So they take this test in February, and then theirs will be the first STAR coming up for reading.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to look at really Similar pieces of data for math. Okay, so I already talked about the interim, just like I did for ELA. Here's something to Dr. McGann's question about when were they given. Math this year compared to what we've done in the past, we actually gave that DBA 3 weeks earlier. And this was based on stakeholder feedback from our campuses. They said, we want the data earlier because math is the last STAR test given. They said we can't really count on because we're already into STAR season. So keep that in mind when you look at comparison to a previous year's DBA, because the previous year would have had 3 extra weeks of instruction compared to where we are. And so when you keep that in mind, I hope it brings a smile to your face. It does to mine. Because we see that we are already outperforming. This year's third graders are outperforming last year's third graders at meets and masters with 3 less weeks of instruction. And now we can dig in and go, okay, what are we doing where we didn't meet that expectation, or how do I grow even further? And you'll see that at each of these grades. There's 4th grade already meeting or exceeding, and 5th grade. 6th grade had a slight dip at meets, but really small and holding its own, again, 3 weeks earlier. 7th grade, I'm just going to pause here for just a moment. Last year, so this is this year's 7th graders to last year's 7th graders. There's something special about this year's 7th graders. When they were in 6th grade last year, instead of a third of our students being in advanced math, we had 55% of our 6th graders in advanced math. That new legislation that based on their 5th grade STAR, it was not an opt-in, it was we will put all of our students in. So those students that might not have previously been exposed to advanced math in 6th grade, they were ready, and we're seeing the change in 7th grade this year. Had to pause a little bit there. Our 8th grade also saw significant advantages. In speaking with our math coordinator, our teachers have really had some additional training in Desmos, which is calculator platform for the test, and said students are maneuvering in that perhaps more easily than with a separate calculator or the pop-up calculator that they can use during testing. So we attribute a lot of this growth to understanding the tools better. And then at algebra, a slight decline, but not of a significant amount, especially considering it was given 3 weeks earlier. So very similar patterns to what we saw in reading that you see. We get growth from DBA to STAR, especially at meets and masters. The change it approaches isn't as significant typically as it is in our others. So it's just a visual for you. So then we'll talk for a moment about the cohort performance. I only do this through 7th grade because once we hit 8th grade, the cohort, it gets commingled because we have 8th and 9th graders in our Algebra 1. So when I look at our current 4th graders, so they are a little bit below where they were on 3rd grade STAR last year, but we already saw they were exceeding last year's 4th graders on DBA. So this is where that section that I just went really quickly through, we're going to work on how do we grow them from DBA to STAR, and we gave it 3 weeks earlier. We have 3 more weeks to intervene. But you can see at the meets level and approaches, they're already higher than they were on STAR last year. So this is really fairly consistent performance, and we should see that last line is dotted because it's from STAR to a DBA as opposed to all the other years are STAR. And we can see how our groups are moving and progressing across their years. Questions about math? Yes, sir.
2 really fast questions. Will we stay with the 3 weeks early going forward?
We will next year, and then in 27-28, our whole STAR system will turn upside down.
Okay. And my second question is, so we got that little bump in 6th grade for the 55%. Is there any ideas of moving maybe 5% more to that group?
So right now we are sticking with that identification from the state, because for the state, it's if you were in the top 40% of scores, it's the 60th percentile or above on your 5th grade STAR. But for us, because we're so much higher than the state average, for us that scoops in quite a bit of students. So we are working on refining that. There are also some challenges in 6th grade because unlike at a junior high and 7th grade where I have multiple teachers teaching, we need those classes to fall where a single 6th grade teacher can support both the on-level and the advanced without skewing our numbers so that the master schedule doesn't work. But we will scoop in as many as we can because we see the results. Anything else?
Any other questions? Thank you, Holly.
All right.
All right, 11.03, were there any questions on disbursements for the month of February 2026? All right, 11.04, bond 2023 update. Mr. Minor.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm here for the update on the construction of the 2023 bond update. Like I said before, this hits all of our, is aligned with all of our priorities, which is really exciting. Now, having said that, I do want to tell you tonight, this will be a brief construction update. We will go into I've been told I have no governor and I am totally unleashed on in 4 weeks at our April 20th spring facility board meeting. So tonight we'll keep it short. All right. So the Faye Ballou Center, if you've been over there, many of you, I had the pleasure of taking you through this. You will notice, and then your update on the Friday was about the front of the building. We do have that going on right now. If you saw, the green is up, but don't lose, I haven't lost my mind. We will be taking that down in a few months, and we're putting up the brown color like it's supposed to, but that was a solution to be able to get us in the building on time. We did start construction in March 25, but we are going to be finished that in April. We have pushed that a couple times, but we do have it marked right now to move in on April 11th. Furniture is going in on the 6th to the 10th, and then we will be moving in closed closet on the 16th and 17th. Again, if you guys been out there, you know we're further along that. We've got glass in, we're closed up, railings, all the flower beds are getting ready to go in. The one on the left, this is a dramatic change. If you ever made it to the penthouse, that was the bedroom area. We'd be looking through back to the kitchen. Completely different. Now we got a conference room. On the right-hand side, that looks, everyone's thinking, that looks terrible. That is actually in progress. We got a nice floor, that's punch list. We're working our way out of there, and it's looking sharp. Now this is looking back to the other direction. We're looking back to the kitchen, looking at the teacher's lounge and the rooms in the back, the conference room and the new hallway. On the left-hand side, you have keys to the front desk. On the right-hand side, that is the devising doors. So you have to separate the elementary from the secondary DAP. If you look on the right-hand side, you can see an access control badge, and those doors do have access controls on them. Bathrooms for the elementary. This, again, it doesn't look fantastic with a water fountain sitting on the floor, but if this is good progress, we actually have everything hanging on the wall. The visqueen is off now. This tile looks really sharp. If you get up there, it looks like exposed aggregate polished concrete, so we really like the look of that. Finished out classroom, ready to go. Ceilings in, lights on, carpet's all ready to go. You can see they're cleaning out and working their way out of there. Hurst-Euless, same thing. If you've been over there, looking sharp. We're targeted to move in July 26th. At the end of the school year, we'll be moving out. This will be as tight as it was at Oakwood Terrace as we move out, so we can get back in and start tearing the building down. Working with Misty Donahoe, they've been doing a fantastic job of getting everything coordinated. We'll finish up the complete site in November of 26. Got glazing going in here. We already buttoned up in the dry. Look right there, you can start seeing the administration area starting to really pop out. On the left-hand side, you can see the beginning of the masonry there wrapping around to the front. And here you can see getting the brick, and this is all on the west side, starting the prep for metal panels. Now, this has a lot going on here. On the bottom left-hand corner, you got the detention pond. That's all the retaining walls and foundation are poured in, ready to go, and getting that set up and then tied into the drainage. You can see the masonry, how it wraps all the way around back to the back part of the building. The roof's in, all the RTUs are on, and they were finishing up ballast and finishing out the roof this week. This is what it'll look like in November. Everything's completed, the old building's gone. Midway Park, now if you drove by one day like I did, all of a sudden I could see things going on, a little bit of ICF, but here in a second you'll just see one day drove by, 3 days later we have a building. That's how fast they're moving. So on this one, remember we'll move in here, we'll get the building somewhere between October and November, and we have a little bit of time. So we're looking at kind of staging this building on so we have time to do a soft start, get it running, but we'll also be able to finish up everything, turn the building over to them in December, and really the rest of that site finish up in June 27 is to finish up the fields, parking lot, and the driveway for Trinity. So a little bit of, and again here, you can see the ICF just blowing away. The ICF, the insulated concrete form wall wrapping around. Basically, we now have a building. So most of that is complete. From this side, you can see the other side on the north corner there. That's all complete, ready to put steel in. You can see they're putting in the storm shelter there. This is how fast the retaining wall's on the front. If you go by, it may look like we're missing sections. That's just how that wall goes in because it's got a stamped concrete stone made into it. And back right here, what I want to focus on is you can see the storm shelter going in. Those trucks are bringing in the walls. One day it wasn't there, and the next it was. You can see all the plumbing is ready. They're just basically, it's made somewhere else and dropped on site. And that's what we'll look like when we're completed with all the Trinity fields. We've got to put those back in. You see the fire lane and the parking lot that wraps around. All that will be there, and you'll see this pop up on Trinity as well. Wilshire Elementary, starting to really move right along. On this one will be the tight one because this will be moving in over December. It finishes up December and then finish up the final phase 2 May 27th. Once they come back in fall of 27, they will have everything ready to go. So we'll be moving forward. And again, starting off with ICF, moving around. As you can see here, if you look at the top, you'll start seeing we're doing the slabs. We're trying to finish the slabs as we go around to the clockwise here. And that right there is called I just went blank. They're forms. They're concrete. They're carton forms. And so I just wanted you to know I haven't started selling 18-wheelers over at the ASF, but all those trailers over there, we're using those, storing all those box forms inside there so we don't take a chance of ruining. Plus, we have no room on site. And so much so is we've had the pump truck sitting half in the street and half on our property, pumping concrete up over so we can work our way into the site. And that's what we would look like when we're finished. Okay, Bell Manor. We're getting ready to start off. We are working on test piers right now. All goes well. We're moving. One thing I didn't tell you about moving out would be gymnastics. We're trying to get past the gymnastics season. I think it's one day after one of their major meets, and then we start moving everything from there on the 9th over to the Debbie Williams Athletic Center. So that'll be out, and then we'll be ready to take the building down. We will do the walkthrough on the 11th at the same time, coordinating all of that, and then we'll be ready to take that building down. You'll see it start coming down by the end of April. Schedules are all looking good at the moment. Now, Bell High School. Now, I know, Matt, like this, that bottom thing is a slice through the campus. Brandon mentioned when he did his walk, a lot of people not understanding really how big of a drastic drop that is until you stand at the front door of the PAC or the Performing Arts Center and you're looking out to Brown Trail and you're just staring into a big wall of dirt in the old building. And that right there is why. So we're already closed this up. That right there, all the ICF basically were wrapped around to the front of the building, and a lot of the holes you'll see now will be storefront or steel. When we were over there, they're already going to the third floor. All the steel was going in for that as well. And it was, I like to see your reactions when I take you into the Performing Arts Center and you see all the scaffolding and you see that deck, all the way to the top where we're going to be pulling up into the back of the stage. Just you can't get that scale from a picture. Here we're in the band hall. The drywall is actually going in, and that big opening on the top right top is the balcony or mezzanine area for the band, so they can look over and during practices. And the bottom, the hole is where our sound rooms or our private practice rooms will be. Again, this is actually taken off the top of the IAC looking over, so that's why it looks like a little bit shorter, but we're looking down onto it. We had to finish out, we left a section out because the crane is so big, it has to reach all the way over to the opposite side to put the steel in. So we left that section out, but you can see that nice fresh corner right there is where that was installed. And now they're starting to wrap around and get ready to do the masonry. And if you look really close on that one, that's what they're trying to show you is that band of masonry. That yellow crane is picking brick up and putting it on the other side so they can put the brick on so we can then move that yellow crane out into Raider Way and begin the construction of the arena. Roofing is already going on. If you see just to the right of that, all that is brand new roof and it's all being finished and they're working their way towards the west. That's what we will look like. One we point out is May of 28, so this Bell students will be able to walk into their new building in the fall of 28. Okay. Same thing, elevation change at Trinity. There's no doubt that we have elevation change there. Just trying to show and give a good idea. The point to this too is tennis courts, we've finished, but we're still finishing up that storage shed. It's in phase 1. Handrails are all completed, and then trying to work out that courtyard between the concession, between tennis, and that area landscaping is going in right now. Again, wrapping around, I said this one's really, we're trying to get all the roofs closed in. If we're going to lag just a little bit, and then all of a sudden it's going to accelerate. And those of you who walk through with me, you can see where that's starting to happen. All the plumbing's in, and now all the walls are starting to pop up really quickly. We want those roofs in that open section in the middle. That's because we had to put cranes in the middle to sling everything around all those other ones. And as soon as they're done doing that, that will back out, and then that roof will go in and we'll be finished. Looking back, you can see we're prepping for masonry. And the storm shelter, if you see the IAC over there, the storm shelter is the full length of that building across that kind of north side. And here you can see the stonework is starting to begin. So we're starting masonry. In the next couple of weeks, we'll see it all the way to the top. Now, this is the one everyone has said too. You don't understand the scale till you stand there and understand that one of those trusses is 16 feet tall. And I think they told me it was 35 feet to the bottom of the truss, plus 16 plus the deck. So it gives you a good idea of how we're looking at it. We're standing on the basketball court for the new arena right there. The gymnastics area, to kind of give you an idea on this one too, what we have right now is it's a little more than half, or just under half of what this size is right here. And you can't see it, but around the corner back in there we do have a practice pit for them as well. But the roofs are going on, getting those all buttoned up. That's what we look like. So phase one, we'll be finishing up. We're targeting June, July on that. And then phase two is going to kick off in June, and so we'll start with that portion as well. We'll be taking everything out of the building, getting ready to demo, and then FF&E is going to be going in at the same time in the new building. And that's the overall schedule. And that's it. Any questions?
So Josh, thanks again for showing us all around, and a wonderful presentation. Will this information be going up on the bond website so that the community members can see it?
Yes, sir.
Great.
Okay.
All right. Which school has the next topping out?
Next topping out would be
Midway Park?
So probably Midway. That's probably where we'll be at next.
All right.
And we're also trying to target some of these so that when they're landing kind of at the end of the school year, we're trying to do that top out so we can have, that was what was fun about Hurst-Hills. We landed on a PD day, and so to be able to see all of them come out, just have fun, look like little kids opening their new, new present.
All right. Thank you, Josh.
All right. Thank you.
All right. 11.05, Bond 2023 Budget Update. Mr. Jones.
Okay, so all the numbers to go along with what Josh just showed you.
There you go.
All right. Okay, so we'll start with Hurst-Hills, just like Josh did. Most everything here is going to be the same. The one big change here is going to be on the testing, commission, and inspection. Now that we've paid our final bills with HPM for right now, we did remove that budget from the testing, commission, and inspection part. So as you can see, that's a savings of $395,000 on this project alone. Everything else was pretty much the same on here. All the expenditures are right on pace with where they should be with the project. Midway Park, same thing here. There was a $35,000 increase on one of the architect pass-through bills, but you also see the $469,000 savings on the testing, commission, inspection, the same as on the prior one. And again, here, the expenditure side is right on pace with the project right now. On Wilshire, the only change here is going to be the same thing again, the $459,000 for the testing, commission, and inspection section. And then the expenditure side is right on pace with the project. We're at about 12% total on the project right now. Bell Manor is where you're going to see the biggest changes with the contract approval at the last board meeting. You are seeing the $891,000 increase for the total base build. That was the number. We had two different numbers going here for the project budget. The original one that we had was $54 million from the architect, but then HPM had gone based on the other prior bids and put in the 51.5, and the actual bid number came in at the 52.3. That's why you're seeing an increase there. On the soft cost, you're going to see slight increases on the testing, commission, and inspection and FF&E because those are percentage-based budgets based on what that total project budget was. But you're still seeing a reduction in the testing, commission, and inspection of that $447,000 due to the HPM contract there. On LD Bell right now, there were no changes except for the couple of fees that are going along with the property purchase over by Bell. So you're seeing a $34,000 increase there. Expenditures are right on pace with the project. As you can see, Phase 0 is getting closer to wrapping up. Phase 1 and 2 are at about 21% of the total budget for that. On Trinity, there's absolutely no changes to the budget on that one at all, and the expenditures are right on pace with where they should be based on the projects. About 71% on Phase 0, Phase 1 through 4 at about 12% of total expenses done. All the other projects in Prop A, there's no changes there at all. Most of those are complete at this point, except for the technology, and the keys conversion one hasn't started yet. So those are going right on pace with where they should be. So your total there, based on the total Prop A of $979 million, we're looking right now at a total budget of $976 million, so about $2.5 million under on that one. On Prop B, that one's going to be fully spent at the $18 million. So then the other projects we're looking at, on the Family Support Center, you're looking at a $60,000 increase there. That was a pass-through bill from Huckabee for a roofing consultant for that one to take a look at that. And then on the bond staffing, as we staffed up when we took HPM off some of these projects, the staffing up, we figured those prices out till 2030 to figure out kind of a budget for that. So that's where you're seeing that $2.8 million increase there. And that's the total staff for Josh and all of his staff over there for the full time. So totals at this point, you're looking at a total approved budget on the revenue side of just a little over $1 billion. So far, we've collected $645 million of that. And then on the expenditure side, also just a little over $1 billion, about an $876,000 difference right now, which will be made up in interest over the next couple of months, most likely. Okay, any questions?
So on the HPM piece,
Mhm.
based on the budget we initially had with them when we entered into the contract, taking into account what we've paid them,
Mhm.
now taking into account these roughly $2 million that we're removing from the amendment, there's still a delta there. Are we going to see some additional savings?
Yes.
On the HPM contract that we're not seeing here yet?
Right now, we haven't included the savings yet for LD Bell or Trinity. We're still waiting on a final bill from them before we make that adjustment. So right now, the savings are just the elementary savings.
Are these all of the savings we'll see on the elementaries, and the only
Yes.
additional savings will be Bell and Trinity?
Right, and that's going to be the large part of that contract from there.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. Any additional questions? Thank you, Stephen. 11.06, data scorecard and EISO update. Dr. Allen.
Good evening. So as you may remember, 2 years ago, in conjunction with ELT, your CI goal team put together a list of items from the strategic plan to be presented on the public-facing data scorecard. So it's my privilege this evening to walk you through the updated district data scorecard as well as your evaluating and improving student outcome goals, or what we sometimes just call ISO. So while everything you see tonight has been presented to you in isolated presentations throughout the year, this is a chance for you to see all of these pieces together in one place and to remind us all that it is public facing and it's easily accessible, which I will show us in a few minutes. So as we know, this information aligns to the district's complete 5 priority areas which guide the work defined in the strategic plan. These include student success, employee success, safety and well-being, effectiveness and efficiency, and family and community partnerships. So I'm going to click out now and go to the HEB-ISD main website. That is where the data scorecard lives, on this main page. In the About section, it's just right here. So trying to make that as easily accessible for stakeholders as possible in the spirit of transparency. We have our 5 priority areas listed here and your ISO goals. And within each one of these, we have all of those areas that you guys said were really important for transparency. So I won't go through every single one of them here tonight, again, since it has been presented to you in isolation. But we'll just click through a few just to show what it looks like on each page. So each individual goal will state what the priority, the quality indicator, and that specific goal is from the strategic plan, and then any data pertinent to that will be below. We'll always also say where the data comes from. Typically it's from the taper if it's anything student achievement related. So here we can see, for example, 3rd grade, reading and math. We can hover over it and see exactly what it was. And we can look at it 3 years history. So pretty much all of this data is going to be given a 3-year history. And then we see all of elementary. Of course, in 5th grade, we have more tests than the others. As we move into junior high, we know in 8th grade, we have the most STAR tests. 9th grade, as Holly reminds us, Algebra 1 sometimes is 8th grade and 9th grade, but I stuck it here on the 9th grade. We also have the achievement for our high schools. The meet and exceeds progress, of course, is that growth that we're interested in looking at. The distinctions is something that I just think is really impressive, and I wanted to take a page from Holly and also just pause for a minute here. We get so many distinctions in HEB-ISD. So anywhere you see an asterisk, it means that that's not awarded in that category. Elementaries can't get the achievement in social studies. Districts are only eligible for post-secondary readiness. And as you see, we just really rock it here. We get a lot of work done. So very proud of our schools there. Of course, a few of these are unique. Attendance, as we know, lags a year in arrears. We mark that on here. Here's another example of where this is something I know we as a school district are not happy with our own results, but even with how we feel like we are not meeting it, we still are beating the state in attendance. So just, again, what high standards we set for ourselves here in HEB. Pre-K, we do the circle learning assessment in math and reading. Early numeracy is one that looks very interesting. So as you'll remember, we switched from M-Class Math to MAP a few years ago. So you see that giant hike there, and that was because we had a change in test. So that's one that looks a little like, what was going on if you don't know that story behind it. CCMR, another one that lags a year in arrears. But we see ourselves, we were below the state, but we see that gap closing. So something we've been working really hard on that we're really proud of. Employee success and employee retention was the specific goal we chose from here to be on the public facing for transparency, and I think this is so important for people in our community to see that we keep our employees. It's a great place to work and it's a great place to be. As somebody who is a parent also in the district, I particularly like that we keep our school safety standards posted. That's something that I'm very concerned about as a mother, and I know everybody, all of our parents are as well. So we do keep that updated. We were only provisionally compliant on one area instead of full compliance, but that was something they were working on, and Dan says we're on track to be in full compliance this year. It was with the two-way radios. With effectiveness and efficiency, we always get an A, and we're always at the very top, an A+, if you will, in our financial stability, and we always maintain our general fund balance. We know, again, with the act of transparency, we're very concerned about our stakeholders and specifically parents and how they view our district. So one of the items here is that district parent survey. We always want 90% or more of our parents giving us a positive rating, and they always do. And then finally, these evaluating and improving student outcome goals. As you know, these are those goals that are not separate from the strategic plan, but they are your specific goals, right? And they are aligned to the strategic plan. And what is unique about these compared to what's on the rest of the data scorecard is that they take those other goals and we have them broken down by all the different sub-pops. And so I won't click through every single one of these because it will be redundant from what we saw on the data scorecard. But just a reminder, we started with an actual goal, not an actual goal, we started with actual data, made goals, and then said, did we meet those goals or not? And then made goals and said, did we meet these goals or not? So anywhere that you see red is a place where we are unfortunately not meeting those goals. Any place where you see purple is that we maybe haven't met it yet, but we're progressing towards it. And anywhere you see green is we have met that goal. And those ISO goals, just as a reminder, cover early literacy, so up to 3rd grade, early numeracy, and then our CCMR, and our emergent bilingual and our SPED are the focus of those. And you can click through and see all those yourself. Again, I won't sit here and click through every single one of those for y'all, but there's lots of green and lots of purple as we click through. So something we're always really happy to see. And now if you will help me go back to my presentation. All right, so in conclusion, this is our current state of the district, if you will. This data scorecard is our public-facing source of transparency to all district stakeholders, and it's our plan for this to be brought to you annually each spring once TAPR results have been released. Are there any questions?
Any questions?
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. All right, we're ready for action items. There were no items removed from the consent agenda. So 12.02, consider approval of Chapter 21 administrator contracts at principal level or above. Ms. Tuttle?
I'm just kidding. All right, so as a reminder, Dr. Harrington approves Chapter 21 contracts of anybody who is below the principal level. And tonight we're bringing you the list of proposed Chapter 21 contracts for 26-27 for those who are at the principal level or higher, above. Any questions?
Any questions on this item? I'll accept a motion.
I move the board approve the Chapter 21, I lost it here. Chapter 21 administrative contracts as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the board to approve the Chapter 21 administrator contracts as presented. Please vote. All right, that motion's passed. 12.03, consider approval of revisions to 2026-2027 employment calendar dates.
So I brought you employment dates at the last board meeting, and I think that there were even some references made to whether they would have to come back to you. And so I must own the fact that with so many iterations of many of the calendars, our office made several errors in using not the most recent iterations. And so we're bringing this back to you for revision to 3 of the calendars, just to the start and end dates. Do you have any questions?
Any questions on this item? I'll accept the motion.
I move the board approve the revisions to the 2026-2027 employment calendar dates as submitted.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the board to approve the revisions to the 2026-2027 employment calendar dates as presented, as submitted. Please vote.
Seven.
All right, that motion passes. So, yeah, probably have. All right, 12.04, consider approval of 2026-2027 Collegiate Academy official school calendar. Ms. Rhodes.
Good evening. I would like you to consider approval of the 2026-27 Collegiate Academy school calendar. The Collegiate Academy has developed a proposed school calendar aligned with Tarrant County College and the HEB ISD School District calendar for this year. We will work to bring this calendar with the district calendar, but sometimes time does not allow that to happen.
All right, are there any questions on this calendar? I'll accept a motion.
I move that the board approve the 2026-2027 Collegiate Academy school calendar as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the board to approve the 2026-2027 Collegiate Academy school calendar as presented. Please vote. And that motion passes. All right. And before we move on to other business, I want to take a point of privilege and just recognize Dr. Reek back there. I see her, our newest doctor in the district. So congratulations. All right, other business, 13.01, opportunity for board members to request items to be placed on future board agendas. Anything tonight? Do we need a second closed session? All right, I'll accept a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned.